Remember when for years the Democrats engaged in multifaceted lawfare against President Trump, abusing the legal system to persecute him on Trump up charges, no pun intended, trying to stop him from winning the 2024 presidential election? And anytime anybody pointed out how absurd the charges were and how this was looking like a communist country, they responded that no one is above the law, not even the former president. Well, now they think that judges are above the law, even when they engage in, well, obstruction of justice. And so on Friday, the FBI arrested a Milwaukee judge inside the courtroom after she engaged in obstruction of justice, trying to stop ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, from arresting a criminal illegal alien. And the Operation Mockingbird assets and the media got the memo with their new word of the day: escalation.
We begin tonight with the escalation in the president's crackdown on illegal immigration.
Today's dramatic escalation in the Trump administration's conflict with judges.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts.
Today, an escalation in the Trump administration's battle with the judiciary.
Tensions between local and federal authorities over President Trump's immigration crackdown escalated today.
We begin this hour with a major escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
We begin with what appears to be a
Morning, Owasso. This is the Twins of the Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. I love Mark Dice. That was a great little video montage he put together there. Check out his video. It's like an 11-minute video he's got today, just put out this morning about 40 minutes ago. So, yeah. Don't tell me that the media is not all talking to each other, that they're all not issuing the same statements, that somebody's not putting something out at the very top about what they're supposed to be talking about today. I mean, again, how perfectly did Mark Dice call that? Their new word of the day: escalation. Because Trump's the bad guy, arresting judges, when, again, no one's above the law. No one's above the law. I mean, Defiant L's has been busy. Y'all know the Twitter guy and meme aggregator, Defiant L's. He's been reposting everyone who ever said no one's above the law. And now, here they are saying, well, judges are above the law. Judges can do what they want. Again, this is what happens whenever they think judges are allowed to interpret the laws whatever way they want. Like I said, again, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and people who just don't give a dang about the law or justice. Like, justice is what they want, is what it bends to their will.
It's the problem with what we have with, it's always been the problem we have with the Democratic Party. They think the Constitution, and even in some cases of these extreme, left-wing Christian progressive types, is the document is malleable. You can change it.
Yeah.
It's open to interpretation. It is not.
Yeah. Again. I don't know, man, but yeah, this is what we're talking about, though. This is the topic of the day. So I can't tell you how many people I've seen posting this, and I've just been posting the whole, all I've been doing is reposting Defiant L's in my stories on Facebook and Instagram, and not a lot of traction on them, but of course, nobody likes being called out on their bullcrap. Nobody likes seeing the double standard, and that's all Defiant L's is doing, is reposting that. It's like these people are being shown their hand, and they don't like it. Again, they like wielding power. They don't like it when power is wielded against them, and they don't like it when their hypocrisy is called out. But again, I don't think they ultimately care at the end of the day.
No. They definitely don't.
So, yeah, why don't you break down, like you were explaining to me this morning, it's like you were reading these articles, and the media is leaving out the most important pieces of these stories, like going, these judges are just trying to protect these poor, innocent baby angel Aladdins, and Chad was telling me about the stuff that they're leaving out, the mission-critical stuff that tells you why these judges are being arrested.
Said I'll read the articles first, and then I'll.
Can you read the articles?
I will attempt. I have lost my voice. So, started off with this one from CNBC. Federal authorities arrest 2 judges in escalation. There's that word.
Escalation
of Trump's immigration crackdown. Federal agents arrest Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Duggan on obstruction charges. Duggan is accused of helping an undocumented immigrant evade arrest, FBI Director Kash Patel said. Her arrest came one day after federal authorities arrested the New Mexico judge and his wife on charges related to the reported harboring of an undocumented immigrant with ties to Trinidad Aragua. Federal authorities have arrested Wisconsin judge and former New Mexico judge in 2 separate cases, accusing them of interfering with Trump administration immigration enforcement efforts. Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Duggan was arrested Friday morning and charged with obstruction. She is accused of helping an undocumented immigrant evade arrest by U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement officers after he appeared in her courtroom on April 18th.
Wasn't he appearing there for like a domestic battery case too?
Yes, and the victims were in the courtroom.
So she let this guy go and walk out when ICE was coming to deport this guy, and his wife and kids were there saying, yeah, this guy, he's been beating us.
Yeah. Said that's why I was hoping to read the article first to see if they leave that out, but we'll go ahead and just get into it.
Yeah.
They were in the middle of the court processions when these guys came in, and she said that you need to go talk to the chief judge
of that. What do you call it? I don't know what you call the court of the courthouse.
Yeah.
The chief judge in that specific courthouse.
So the 2 agents that came in to grab him went out to go see that judge, and as they were doing that, she grabbed the guy, took him into her chambers, her personal chambers, and escorted him out through a back or a side door exit. And some other officials who were outside saw this and was like, what is going on? And that's what happened. So it's much more nefarious. And remember, the victims of this domestic battery were in the courtroom during this time that this is happening.
Yeah, waiting for justice to allegedly be done.
So that's that one. But we'll see if they even mention it in this. That's why I was hoping. That's why I wanted to read this first to see.
I'm just trying to help you out with your voice.
No, you're good. All right, where were we? Oh, yeah. Duggan's arrest came one day after federal courts arrested New Mexico Joel Cano and his wife on charges related to the Canos reported harboring an undocumented immigrant with alleged ties to the notorious Trinidad Aragua gang. The actions against Judge Mark a sharp escalation. There's that word again. Trump administration aggressive efforts to remove undocumented immigrants from the U.S. Nobody should be surprised by the arrest of these 2 judges, Tom Homan, President Donald Trump's border czar, said in a statement on Friday. If you actively impede our enforcement efforts, or if you knowingly harbor, conceal an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted, Homan wrote on X. Duggan's arrest drew swift condemnation from Trump's critics. Americans are watching with outrage and stunning news that Trump's FBI...
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're watching with happy cheers. We're like, yeah, get rid of these activist judges. We don't want them in there. We want people who are going to judge by the law and interpret the law fairly and righteously. Not be like, well, special case for this person because my fifis are getting hurt. I don't want to see these poor innocent baby angel Aladdins taken off my streets.
Americans are watching stunning news from Trump's FBI arrest. Sitting judge in Milwaukee for alleged obstruction of an immigration arrest. Rep. Jamie Raskin, Democrat, Maryland, said in a statement, "This is a drastic escalation and dangerous."
Escalation.
This is how you know the media has super ties with the Democratic Party because they're all using the exact same language.
Yeah. Buzzword of the day. It's like Pee Wee Herman show. What's the word of the day? Escalation. Yay! Escalation. It's the word of the day.
This is drastic escalation and dangerous new front in Trump's new authoritarian campaign of trying to bully, intimidate, and impeach judges who won't follow his dictates, said Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. We must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary of America. This isn't independent. This is them doing whatever they want and breaking the law. They are breaking the laws that they interpret and judge on.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is what happens when you have like this limp-wristed, well, we can interpret the law any way we want.
New Mexico arrest. Let's see here. Cano, a former Dona Ana County magistrate judge, and his wife Nancy Cano, both are facing charges of tampering with evidence.
Is it Cano or Cano? Sorry, I'm just being...
We'll just say Kano for Mortal Kombat.
I'm being shallow and pedantic.
Yeah. shallow and pedantic. Now, we'll say Kano for Mortal Kombat because nobody likes Kano in Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm. I do. He carried that whole last movie on his shoulders.
Last movie, but we're talking about in the game. Okay. Kano, who served on the bench in 2011, submitted his resignation letter March 3rd, days after Homeland Security raided his home court documents obtained by MSNBC News show Federal agents have received a tip in January that Christian Ortega, a undocumented immigrant from Venezuela who authorities suspect of being a Tren de Aragua gang member, and others were staying in Cano's property, which this actually just raises a question to me that I wonder if this judge was bought and paid for by Tren de Aragua.
It's possible. I mean, it's probably a joint conglomerate of Soros money and Tren de Aragua funds. I mean, like I said, this right here is like the epitome of like South Park. Like this is like, oh, Montequilla, you know, like they adopted this Tren de Aragua gang member into their house. And it's like work, Mexican work, you know. It's like he was like their house servant or whatever.
Like the fact that they basically became a member of the family, like just tells me that I think that they were getting paid off by the gang.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's some bad. I mean, they're definitely gonna find some probably dirty money flowing around through here. I mean, this is crazy, folks. Like, if you think for a minute that that these people are good people, like oh, we're just doing the right thing, you know. I mean, at least they put their money where their mouth is. Like they're the people that be like, yeah, we put up. You know, we'll take illegals into our home. You know, it's like how many Democrats be like, oh, sorry, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I can't do that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like clearly these people had criminal connections, and this guy, they got him guns too, right?
Yes.
Like they gave him guns.
We'll get into that here in a second. Let's see if they even mention that in this. Tren de Aragua gang member and others were staying on, and other gang members were staying on Cano's property. Ortega is charged in a separate federal case in New Mexico with possession of firearms and an illegal alien. So they mention it, but they didn't say that they gave him any yet. Mm-hmm. A sworn affidavit in Cano's criminal case and said Homeland Security agents conducted another raid of the former judge's home Thursday in search of a cell phone they believed was Ortega's. According to the affidavit in the interview, Cano said that he destroyed the cell phone that belonged to Ortega by smashing it with a hammer and discarding the remains in pieces of trash dumpster approximately 5 weeks ago. So they pulled a Hillary Clinton, smashing cell phones with hammers and getting rid of the evidence. Cano denied knowledge of
that seems like something an innocent person would do, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Cano has denied any knowledge of the 3 people affiliated with the gang. The very first time I'd ever heard the boy possible had any association with Tren de Aragua was when I was informed by the agents on the day of the raid. Cano wrote in a letter in March to the state Supreme Court responding to the allegations against him.
Pause. What kind of man are you? You don't vet people that come and live in your house with you. Like, that's crazy. Like, you didn't meet with the dude. You didn't talk to the dude. Be like, excuse me, sir. Are you a gang member? Like, I'm going to let you come and live in my house and be a part of my family. Like, you should know. I mean, like that is irresponsible. It'd be like just letting a hobo in off the street and being like, he's not gonna he's not eating all my food, drink all my liquor, and try to bang my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, like this is crazy, man. Like this is just, again, that whole. It's like what Actual Justice Warrior says. That's just they're all innocent baby angel Aladdin mentality.
Yep, but that's what we'll get to. Because he mentions the guns, but his daughter apparently, the judge's daughter, is apparently like a big Call of Duty streamer, and so she is the one that really has the guns. You know, her dad, of course, buys them for her because she's underage, at least, you know, for, you know, I assume handguns and stuff, but she would give the guns to this kid because I don't know if they were dating or they were just friends or what, but it said that she gave them guns. So technically, since she's probably underage and can't technically buy a firearm, she gave them to him, so it's the dad that's getting in trouble for handing over the firearms.
Yeah, it's a what do you call it? A straw purchase, effectively.
Correct, because he's an illegal immigrant. Illegal immigrants can't purchase firearms in the United States.
Yep.
So
how interesting.
But yeah, he came in, and the wife just fawned over this kid because he came in to put in glass. I guess whatever work he did, he put in glass. He put in the glass the best anybody could ever put in glass ever. And the wife just fell in love with this kid and was just gushing over. So we need to hire. Just let him live here. Just let him stay here.
That is so weird. This bodes well. Something else is going on here.
Exactly. That's why I said. That's why I think that they were trying to get in with this judge for Tren de Aragua gang purposes to have a judge in their back pocket.
Yeah. So again, maybe this kid was a plant by the cartel to be like, hey, we're looking for some favorable rulings. How about we send you this nice kid to be your contact, and then we'll send some money your way, and then again, they're smashing their personal cell phones.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
That's the other part. The kid had beheaded 2 different beheaded people on his phone. That were stuff,
oh my God.
He had 2 different beheadings on his phone.
And his wife is just gushing about this kid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he even said. One of the text messages said, "You need to be careful sharing this stuff."
What?
Yeah, that was one of the text messages that he received. Yeah, you got to be careful sharing this type of stuff.
Guys, this is the epitome of evil, man. Like, they don't care. Like, their pockets were getting lined, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just speculation on my part, so take it all with a grain of salt. But in what world would you let a random kid who did glass work for you live in your house, him be sharing videos and pictures of people being beheaded, and you'd be like, you need to be careful with this stuff, instead of being like, hey, we ought to find you some, like, clinical psychologist to help you out.
Yeah.
Like, you need to talk to somebody and be like, yeah, this ain't normal, man. Yeah. And these judges are like, oh, you're just so wonderful. These little innocent baby angel. Oh, Montequilla. Let me get you some Windex. Like, what the heck is going on here, man?
No kidding. It says, with the Wisconsin arrest, a U.S. Marshal Service spokeswoman confirmed to CNBC that Duggan was arrested on 8:30 a.m. local time on the courthouse property. Duggan was released on bonds after making her initial appearance Friday morning in the U.S. District Court in Milwaukee before the magistrate judge Stephen Dries. According to her case docket, Duggan's arraignment and plea proceedings is set for May 15th, the docket shows. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Carl Ashley told NBC that the judge code of conduct restricts him from commenting on the matter, but Duggan's court calendar will be covered by another judges as needed. FBI Director Kash Patel announced on X that the FBI believes Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from Eduardo Flores Ruiz as agents were attempting to arrest him at the courthouse. That's the guy that he's broken into the United States like 2 or 3 times now, and was there on trial for domestic abuse.
Chancho there?
Yeah, old Chancho. Or as they would say in gordo, very gordo.
Gordo?
Gordo means fat.
Yeah. How does Gordo breaking over the border so much and so easily?
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge obstruction created a increased danger to the public, Patel said in a post. It absolutely did, and it created a danger for the agents coming in to arrest him. Milwaukee Journal Centennial reported Tuesday that the FBI was looking into Duggan's conduct surrounding the attempted arrest by ICE in the courthouse on April 18th. On that day, Duggan became visibly angry after learning that ICE agents were waiting in the hallway to arrest Flores Ruiz after hearing in his criminal battery case, according to the FBI special agent's sworn affidavit unsealed Friday. Duggan and another judge entered the hallway and confronted the arresting team, telling them one deportation officer that he needed a judicial warrant to make the arrest instead of an administrative warrant, the affidavit said. Duggan ordered them to go to the chief judge's office, it said. After returning to the courtroom, Duggan escorted Flores Ruiz to his counsel through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the building, the affidavit said, citing multiple witnesses. Flores Ruiz and his attorney then returned to the hallway and took the elevator down to the building, and the affidavit said, after being told that Flores Ruiz was in front of the courthouse, agents ran towards him and identified themselves as law enforcement, it said. Flores Ruiz turned around and sprinted down the street. A foot chase ensued, according to the affidavit. Do they have to keep saying that, affidavit? The agents pursued Flores Ruiz the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of W State Street and 10th Street.
Better luck next time, Gordo.
Mm-hmm. Said his was handcuffed and detained, it said. Duggan's criminal complaint shows she was been charged with concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest, obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a federal department agency. Hell yeah, that's what I like to see.
I mean, she should be disbarred.
Absolutely, she should
thrown in jail.
Mm-hmm.
They can let their Call of Duty daughter take care of the house.
Yeah. ICE agents have been arrested people in the courthouse hallways in March, April, according to the Journal Centennial. ICE did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment. A person who answered a call to Duggan's chambers declined to comment. White House spokesperson Kush Desai, I don't know how to say that name, said in a statement to NBC, the days of actively aiding and abetting illegal aliens invading our country are over. The Trump administration will never waver on putting Americans and Americans first with no nonsense approach to immigration enforcement.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. In this administration, anyone who commits crimes exposes themselves to criminal liability. That's great.
So again, very little. Again, even these media articles, like they didn't mention the firearms. They didn't really mention what the extent of the aiding and abetting that was going on. It's just like a little throwaway point here, a little throwaway point there.
The second one, I think, did a better job, but that first one didn't nearly go to as in-depth as how bad that kid that was a member of Tren de Aragua was. But the second one actually did a pretty decently detailed amount of what was going on.
But again, they're just trying to help you read the headlines, and that's it.
Exactly. But that's most people on the left. Read the headline, start posting, and then after that, just like,
outrage ensues.
Outrage ensues, and like I said, half the time, like these articles are clickbait articles titles that are just designed to get people heated. They go, look at this, and they go, but if you read it, it actually says the opposite of what the clickbait title says.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and like I said, so they're standing on their high horse saying that no one is above the law, and like even that kind of just brings us back to this point that I had earlier, is that we were talking about New York Attorney General Letitia James. Lawyer calls mortgage fraud allegations improper political redistribution or retribution. Well, guess what? She is being charged
for the same thing that she charged Trump with,
except in the opposite direction, where Trump overcharged what he thought his assets were.
She
which is
devalued her property so she could pay less taxes on them.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So she is literally doing these. She is literally doing loan fraud.
Well, she did something along the lines like, didn't she say her dad was her husband or something?
Yes,
to, like
that
get
was
the
on
loan.
the
Like that's
affidavit.
crazy stuff. You know.
Yep, that is correct. And so all these Democrats have literally shot themselves in the foot. She cannot stand up in a courtroom now. She should. I mean, first off, her primary. She said her primary residence now is like what, West Virginia,
like
Virginia?
400 miles away. Yeah.
So she's disbarred from being the AG of New York just for that, because her primary residence has to be in the state that you're AGing for. And then two,
well, it'd be like, well, she was married to her dad, but now they're legally separated, so she can be AG there. I mean, like I said, they're going to use these stupid loopholes. You know, it's like that she would show none of these mercies or favors to Trump again. But this is what happens when you when you engage in lawfare, when you weaponize the legal system against people doing things that are actually not illegal. Like Trump overvalued his property to get a better loan, and like I mean, even. Plenty of real estate people came out and defended Trump. Like guys that don't like Trump were like, no, this is actually normal business practice.
From Shark Tank said
yeah,
that. He's
like,
this is normal.
Yeah, everybody does this. Every single person does this to get the best deal they can for themselves. Like this is not unheard of. And he goes, New York is making it to where I won't do business in the state anymore because I'm not going to risk getting sued for it.
Yep. Pretty much.
So again, this is what's happening, and now she's getting caught up in the same thing that she was accusing Trump of, but just again, opposite direction. I'm lowering the value of my property so I don't have to pay much as taxes. Like. Again, scumbag judges who have no morals, who have no convictions. It's all about politics. It's all about partisan hackery.
And then we just talk about this is just like these people are acting like this is Trump's retribution. Well, even if it is, like you came after Trump's lawyers. You sued Trump's lawyers
for
defending him in court. That's ridiculous. And then
no, they jailed some of them.
And then two, you also have no leg to stand on because you're like, how come these illegal immigrants aren't getting due process? What about the January 6ers who were literally locked up for months, some of them years, with no court date set?
No trial, no due process, no nothing. Well, they were insurrectionists. Were they? Prove it. Again, everyone's like, all those people that died on January 6th. Nobody died on January 6th except for Ashley Babbitt and the other lady. There were two people that died. They were both
Trump
protesters, Trump supporters. You know who didn't die? Any officer. No police officer died. Again, the one officer that died 2 days later of unrelated heart condition. Probably had too much Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is crazy, man. Again, rules for thee, not for me. Democrats, like, again, I had the same friends that I was telling you about the last time that was posting, like, working class father of four, illegally deported by Trump. It's like, no, the only thing you missed illegally was he was an illegal immigrant. And the same thing, it's like he was posting the same thing, going, all of these Trump is proving that he's a fascist by coming for all the judges. Like, I mean, lawyers won't defend judges and stuff and defend them in court. This is what fascism looks like. It's like, no, dude, guess what? The reason they're not defending them and no lawyers want to stand up for them is because they don't want to lose cases that they know they can't win.
Yep.
Like, you have these people like, what's the famous lawyer, the guy that defended, I can't think of it, when it's OJ, or I don't remember who. But a lot of these lawyers won't risk their reputation on a losing case. Like, a lot of them are like, no, I base my clientele off winning, not losing, So they won't take the cases because they know there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that brings me to the memes that have just been absolute fire after this crap storm here.
Yeah.
SKS Cartoons is how we'll start it off. No one said it's the Democratic judge donkey saying, "Don't you say it. Don't you dare say it." And then Trump says, "No one is above the law."
Again, have a slice of humble pie, Democrats. I mean, this is what you get. This is perfect retribution right here, man.
And then this one I absolutely love. It's Trump as the guy sweating over pressing the button. This is what he just clicks both of them. It says, "Deport every illegal, deport woke judges."
I love it, man. Again, no one's above the law. No one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's these judges who just interpret the laws limp-wristedly and just go, "Oh, rules for thee, not for me." These innocent baby angel Aladdins can't be deported. They did no wrong. They're here legally. That's what they did wrong.
This one not really relevant today, but I still love it. We'll probably do a show about this later. But how I imagined 2025 as a kid, how it turned out, and it's this guy just like, pedophilia is bad, and then it's all these like woke streamers that are like, source.
Yep. I can't tell you. I mean, we live in this weird society now where it's like,
but these are all people who are like either atheist types or Islamic types. So imagine that godless people that are more okay with pedophilia. Who would
it's like,
guessed?
you have these weird people. It's like, I would have loved to have, like, I mean, like, look at like losers like Destiny. It's like, I would have loved to have been having sex when I was 14 years old. It's like, yeah, so would every kid that has their sexual awakening. But you don't encourage that kind of behavior because it's not healthy. It's not good. You want your kids to form healthy relationships and healthy attachments with people, not just be like, hey, we should just start banging at age 12.
This next one I have here is from Parks and Rec, but it's Kash Patel as what's his name as Ron Swanson. Says you can't just arrest judges, and then it's Kash Patel handing him a thing says no one is above the law.
Seriously, this is the best meme of all time right now. Like, I mean, like the liberals are going to getting butthurt over this, but I mean, this is the truth, man. We're just hitting them back in the face with what they said about Trump all the last several years. It's like, no one's above the law, man. No one.
Then, of course, everyone's favorite little
twink
boy is Harry Sisson says, "Hey, Donald Trump, nobody is above the law in the United States." And then Harry Sisson now. "Trump is now arresting sitting judges, and we're less than 100 days into his term. This is exactly what dictators do."
What happened to no one's above the law, Harry? Again,
this is how you know that these are just paid shills. They don't care. They are just here to spread the lines and the lies.
Yeah, they're not thinking critically about anything that's being put out. They're just towing the line. They are toe the line mother effers. They don't care. Like, whatever is put out, they will march in lockstep with whatever the talking point is as long as they get paid to say it.
Mm-hmm. Then the right to bear memes. Mark Hamill, no one is above the law. And then handing it back
and
to
his
him.
card back. There you go, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is for you.
I love it. I love it. And then, of course, there's the regular one without Trump on this one that you sent me. It says, cries about judges being arrested. No one is above the law. Liberals sweating, trying to figure out which button to push.
What do we do? We've marched ourselves into a corner. But again, they don't care. They have, like, I mean, Liberals don't have any memory. They don't. It's not even that they're short. They don't have short memory like Dory the fish. They have no memory. Again, it's only whatever is politically convenient at the time. That is what they will do and use against you.
Mm-hmm. Then this is what we're talking about whenever we get into an argument with someone about like how the media is manipulating you.
Again, yeah, I told Chad, I was like, this is the exact conversation I had with that one kid on Facebook not too long ago when I was talking about how the media has been the media is totally left wing. He goes, well, Twitter's not left wing anymore, and it's like, yeah, Elon Musk bought it like a week ago, bro. Like, of course. Like, I mean, sure, you can say we have it now, but we're talking for the past 100 years, the media has been in lockstep with the Democratic Party, effectively. It's only just now, in the last, 30 years, become, like, blatantly obvious. But, I mean, for those of us who have been on the right, I mean, you can go back as far as Andrew Breitbart, being like, it was obvious to Andrew Breitbart back then that they are so against us, they are so weaponized against the right that it's nuts.
And how quickly they united against him, trying to
destroy him.
Yeah, trying to destroy him, because the right-wing narrative follows the truth, and the left-wing narrative follows
the narrative.
Follows the narrative and manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always wrong, but it usually gives you half-truths.
Yeah, go ahead and read the meme now.
Okay, so the meme says, and it's from Stone Toss, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a moment to talk about net neutrality and censorship?" And it's a guy wearing a Reddit shirt, if you can't see it. And it says, "What a coincidence. I was just talking to people about the same thing." And he's like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, Google, Facebook, and YouTube and Twitter are censoring like crazy." "Well, what are they censoring?" "Mostly right-wingers and conserva." And then the guy just turns around and leaves because he doesn't care.
Yeah. Again, net neutrality was not about what people actually thought it was about. I remember having conversations, like I was gaming a lot back then. I was, talking to people playing like Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, and like just listening to them say, yeah, net neutrality is bad. We need to stop that. And it's like, oh, no, it's giving other places besides Google and all the major, like search engine platforms, like the ability to kind of compete, because they don't want to be pushed down in the algorithm. And everyone was like, no, that's not what it's doing. It's like, no, that's exactly what it's doing. It's giving the big dogs all the food at the table and keeping the little dogs away. So you would think the people who'd be like, I'm for small businesses and I'm for, everyone trying to compete. It's like, but they're not. They're like, no, we only want the big dogs there.
But that's how you know that liberals really aren't for small businesses, because they're like, if only there was only like 3 or 4 places that you could go. I mean, that's how I talk to everybody. It's like, why are there so many insurance companies? There should only be like, every time I talk to liberals, like, there should just be like 1 or 2 insurance companies, and the government has like complete control over them, and they can't take advantage of people. And you're like, that's exactly how socialism and communist dictator places work.
Yeah, you want more insurance companies and more places so you have more options available to you, and hopefully one of them finds a way to outcompete the other one.
You said, like, people think they get screwed over by their insurance companies, like, all the time. Like, you're only just raising my rates. You're only just raising my rates. Just like, imagine if you couldn't leave. That's exactly what having only like 1 or 2 would be. There'd be no difference between them besides their name. And the government would have set prices on them. Like, so when your rates go up, you could never leave.
Yeah.
And then, so at least with multiple, you can be like, okay, I'm leaving this place. I'm going to go to this place for a while.
Yeah. Again, net neutrality was not what people actually thought it was about. Like, it was the opposite. Like, framing it as net neutrality was not it was a good marketing ploy by the liberals to be like, it's not what you think it is, So. Mark Hamill's getting owned a lot in this one.
He sure is, but this is what happens when you put your foot in your mouth. You can't post something that's 100% the opposite of what you're going to do like 5-10 years later. No one is above the law. Mark Hamill now. We have just arrived to arresting judges, the level of fascism.
So good.
And that's really all I have for memes as of right now, anyway.
Yeah, well, again, this is a good thing. If you think these again, if you were for Trump being arrested, you should be for these judges getting arrested. That's all I can say. If you are for that, you should be for the judges being arrested. And again, these judges are not innocent. These judges were going outside of the law. They considered themselves above the law. Again, they're thumbing their nose down at you. They're going, we can break the law. I can do whatever I want. You think that they let some Trinidad Aragua gang member live in their house and they weren't getting paid a substantial sum of money, probably from the cartels? Allegedly. Again, there's a lot more going on here. And again, innocent people don't destroy their cell phones. So, yeah, I mean, if you hand your phone off, go through it. You might find a couple of naughty text messages from my girlfriend, or maybe some risque memes from my friends that you might use against me in the court of law. But
some very spicy memes that will probably get me in trouble.
There's some dank memes in there, but again, I'm not gonna be obviously they were giving legal advice to criminals, which is why they were destroying their phones.
Yeah.
Again, liberals, if you're watching the show, did you know that they destroyed their phones like Hillary Clinton? They burned their phones, they crushed them, destroyed them, so they couldn't get any of the data off of them?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? Did you know that they gave those illegal criminals guns? Did you know they were living in their houses with them? Do you think they were really just staying in there rent-free, just out of the goodness of their hearts, because they were really good window installers? Yeah. Guys, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had somebody come and install your windows and be like, hey, you want to live with me? Hey, bro, you're darn good at installing windows. You got to live here with me now,
Can I
man.
get things that never happened for $500.
Exactly. This is nuts, bro. Let's do some critical thinking skills.
I'm almost convinced that this was Trinidad Aragua paying off a judge to have in their back pocket.
Allegedly, of course, allegedly. But I mean, just do some critical thinking here. Let your conspiratorial mind stretch its little feelers out a little bit and figure out maybe there's more. Like the Transformers, maybe there's more than meets the eye here. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. This is nuts. So, again, this is a good thing.
Autobots roll out.
Yeah, no, Decepticons assemble. No, man. So that's what's going on, dude. This is crazy. This is nuts. Either way, I'm glad that these judges are getting their comeuppance. I'm glad that they are no longer going to. I'm glad that there are judges should be afraid now. They should be like, we're not above the law anymore. Again, every public service person should feel this way. They should feel their buttholes pucker.
Why is it okay for why is it okay that Trump feels like he is not have enough power? The liberals want Trump to feel like he has no power, but judges are allowed to have all the power in the world. This goes back to even those circuit court judges saying Trump has no authority to deport gang members or illegal aliens, and they're just you mean to tell me a circuit court judge has more power and authority than the president of the United States? Holy crap. I can't wait till we send troops overseas.
Seriously, it's like a circuit court judge saying that. It's like that meme of that kid. Man, who are you? Seriously. Nobody elected you, bro. You were appointed. Get the heck out of here. Let the president do his thing, man.
Yeah. 100%.
So this is nuts, man. I mean, this is what happens when the deep state is weaponized against the administration, against what we, the people, voted for. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you want. They're just trying to.
And despite how the Democrats are all trying to go on this tirade of all MAGA's having buyer's remorse on Trump, is nope, I have not met one person who voted for Trump say that they have regretted voting for Trump.
Yeah, we're sitting here.
To this day, it is literally that is liberal propaganda of fake conservatives who are actually liberals, just oh God, I voted for Trump. I'm so stupid. Why
buyer's remorse. I want him to do more, go harder.
Mm-hmm.
I want this government shrunk, and I want these people afraid for their jobs.
Yeah, I do too.
So again, that's about all we've got for you today. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that is all we've got for you today. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Leaving the courthouse after her arrest, Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan said nothing. Accused by federal authorities of obstructing or impeding a proceeding of the United States. In this case, that Dugan tried to prevent immigration agents in the courthouse from arresting and deporting this man, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, as part of a U.S. crackdown on illegal migrants.
You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave.
The U.S. Attorney General slamming Dugan and other judges, suggesting they're wrongly stalling or trying to block the stepped-up deportations.
They're deranged is all I can think of. I cannot believe, I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not.
But there's already pushback on the way Dugan was arrested, said to have been by multiple law enforcement officers. The arrest documents describe the scene inside the courthouse, and evidence suggesting Dugan did indeed try to help Ruiz escape federal agents. He'd been deported once before and was in court facing domestic violence charges. But protesters worry that in seeming to make a show of her arrest, regardless of what she did, federal authorities aim to intimidate other judges to ensure none stand in the way of future deportations.
Judge Hannah Dugan's arrest is not just about her, right? This is about striking fear in the heart of the judiciary across the entire country.
But the U.S. Attorney General is having none of it, underlining any obstruction of justice, no matter by who, will not be tolerated. Judge Dugan's lawyer said in a statement, Dugan regrets and protests her arrest and will defend herself vigorously.